Alright, y'all, so I just came back from court about like an hour ago. So the judge unfortunately awarded her like the $400,000 dowry and then all the furniture. I have about like 30 days to move out and because she got possession of my home. So I'm gonna go live back with my parents until I can, find a new place to stay. I'm just kidding, bro. I won everything in court. This bitch didn't get a single penny from me. I absolutely smeared the floor with this woman and her freaking father, dude. And honestly, this went better than I expected. I was worried I wasn't gonna like be as articulate because I don't know like the technical legal words to present evidence, and the judge was probably gonna just like have none of that BS and just like deny me from talking and her talking, because like he doesn't care, that we're both pro se and not lawyers. He just wants things to go like clockwork, like it's been going for the last 70 years of his job as a judge. But I'm gonna basically tell you how things happen, bro. Like it got even crazier, and I actually said, hey, I'm not gonna disclose everything that happened in our marriage because, I want to maintain the peace. But what she did in court today crossed the boundaries, lowered the bar even more. You guys thought the bar was low. Now wait till you find out what I'm about to tell you. So now I'm gonna actually divulge all the other stuff that I was preventing from sharing with you guys because I was trying to spare her the humiliation. So right off the bat, the day before, the court date, I got the fit played out, laid on the bed like it's first day of middle school. Got the group chat telling boys, all right, we waking up 5:30 a.m. We're gonna arrive in like 6 black Lincoln Navigators tinted out, all black suits and shades, whatever. I start leaving to court. Court's at 9 o'clock, okay? And I get there at 8:30. I want to be there early, just to make sure I know where the room is and all that good stuff. I'm anticipating like, okay, these people, they're coming from out of Houston, her and her father and her mom, so they're gonna have to like probably book the hotel, or they stayed somewhere the night before to plan for this court date on Wednesday 9 a.m. So they were actually there earlier. And as I was walking towards the 417th district courtroom, or at least the outside bench of the courtroom, I was thinking, okay, I gotta be aware. I know her father, Jed, is probably gonna be there, and he's probably gonna act like a tough guy. This is gonna be the first time I see him after airing out all his shit, bro. So, probably shouldn't have said that. I don't want to get it taken down. Yeah, so I'm like, all right, this guy's gonna try and mean mug me and intimidate me. I'ma just smirk, all right? When I see him, I'ma smirk. Second I see that big old bowling ball belly of his, and he was wearing some black shades on his eyes, I looked at him, just gave him one of these. Okay, and there was 2 benches right in front of the courtroom, and he was sitting on the end of it. There was like a group of people there, and there was really nowhere else to sit. And also I want to do like a little power move. I don't want it to show like, oh, I'm afraid, I'm gonna hide, I'm gonna go by myself. Nah, I sat right next to, there's a person in between us, right? And we're like about 10 feet apart, okay? The second I sit down, the person in between us gets up. So literally, like if I just turn the camera, like, like my head like this way, he'd be right there. His wife's back was given towards me like this, and then his daughter, and then him on the other side of it. And just the mom and the dad, her mom and dad came. And again, I was like thinking, okay, is this guy like mean mugging me? Like, is he trying to intimidate me? He's not looking at me, not paying attention to me. 8:45 comes along, the courtroom doors open. They walk up, they go inside first thing, I think like they want to get a head start. Maybe they want to ask the prosecutor some stuff. I don't know. Or excuse me, the judge, the court coordinator. And so yeah. After that happened, like I could sense like, he was walking in and out of the courtroom. I'm deliberately making eye contact with him because I want him to know like I'm not afraid. I don't feel any embarrassment. I'm not a tough guy myself, but I'm just trying to put my head in the mind of a criminal, right? This guy wants to intimidate me. Let me, be the one to remove the shyness. I'm just staring at him like that, anytime. And the second we make eye contact, he breaks eye contact. He'll just look somewhere else. So I get like, okay, this guy doesn't want to stare me down. Well, I guess he's, not the tough guy he claims himself to be. We go to court. My mom's there. My dad's there. I got the whole squad, the group chats there. They came like a little late because traffic was crazy, so they showed up like, 5 minutes late. Court didn't start until like 9:10 or whatever. Now I was the I'm the plaintiff. I filed for the divorce, so I got to speak first, okay? And I got this whole little, sheet right here. I got everything, like, what I'm gonna say, in order to basically trap my wife into, a lie. Like, I want to basically catch her committing perjury, get her contempt in court, judge, sentence her, 40 days in jail or like a $5,000 fine. Like, and when I was reading down this list, I basically gave a brief backstory, small backstory, like a 2-minute monologue of essentially why I'm filing for divorce. And then finally, I got to the actual stuff that matters. Like, okay, does she have a right to the master bedroom set, the pink pots and pans, the coffee bar, all that nonsense? Again, I refuted it. Not communal property. This was before we were married. It's not considered a marital asset, so it's irrelevant. Then I started asking her. I said, I got it right here. It said, I would like to ask the respondent some questions about her demands, right? Because I want her to clarify some of the things that she was going to say. That way, when she lies, I can get her in an aha moment, okay? So I said, have you purchased any of these said items that you are demanding in the separate property section of our divorce petition? And she straight up is like, I don't remember. You don't remember what you paid for the master bedroom set? I don't recall. She's trying to, be fresh, be like, funny about it, pretend like she doesn't know. Just say no, you didn't buy it. And then I asked her something like, okay, what about the coffee bar? Did you buy that? She says, oh, well, actually, yeah, you took my money from my school and my wedding and $20,000, and you use that to buy the coffee bar. And I'm like, what does that have to do with it? Whatever, I didn't care. I just want to go and ask her these lists of questions because I'm just trying to rack her statements up to make her commit. Keep in mind, when you question and you go on the stand, say, swear, raise your right hand, swear under oath that you testify to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, to help you God. But yeah, we said all that. We raised our hands. She raised her hand, swearing to the truth, telling this is nothing but the truth, but for God. So then I go and I ask her, okay, ask about the $30,000 wedding cash. How did you calculate that number? She should have just said, like, oh, I added, but she started making that, oh, that's not what I wanted to write. Like, you owe me I'm willing to settle it for $20,000. I'm like, I had to say, why did you write, he owes me $30,000 wedding cash? Oh, well, because, you agreed to that. This is not the Mehed certificate that we signed. This is just, you made up the number 30,000 because you want to, collect the donations that we got from the wedding gifts, okay? Whatever, I didn't care. She's saying some nonsense. Who cares? Next question. I asked her about the gold sets. Are you missing any gold jewelry? She says yes. And I'm like, okay, can you describe this jewelry, ma'am? She says, I don't remember. You can't describe the jewelry. Was it a necklace that you're missing? Was it a bracelet? Was it a ring? I don't remember. I'm just missing it. Again, I'm not worried. I don't care how it's irrelevant if she answers or not, because I literally have her 4K 60 FPS caught red-handed. Like, she's not going to be able to deny this proof, okay? So whatever nonsense she's saying, I got evidence. Every time I ask her a question, it's because I have evidence on it. I'm not going to ask her a question, something I don't have evidence on. So then ask her, okay, can you describe any clothing items or handbags, purses, perfumes? Yeah, some handbag. I said, oh, handbags, you say? Was it the Christian Dior handbag? Yes. Yeah. Okay. Can you please describe that handbag? I don't remember. You don't remember your $6,000, $7,000 Christian Dior handbag? For all I know, probably fake. No one, her father. I don't know how many Social Security disability checks you need to get a Christian Dior handbag. But she's trying to just say, I don't know, I can't tell. I say, okay, well, would you say the Christian Dior handbag is a blue with cream color scheme? It's almost like a tote. I guess. Okay, no problem. Next question. Did you download the dating app Hinge and speak to other men behind my back and go out on a date with one of these men? With the most straightest face, she leans into the mic. No. I'm sitting there. Yes,
No,
yes. Continue this rabbit hole in line. Okay? Okay? And then I was surprised that she was gonna deny that she cheated on me, and I thought she was gonna like at least own up and say, "Oh, I went out on a date, but I wasn't cheating." You know, that's normal. It's not cheating to go on a date with another man behind your husband's back of 30 days and give him a hug and then have sexual conversations, right? That's just, you know, American stuff. You know, like that's I thought the argument she was gonna try and make, right? So I asked her, like, you know, I was gonna have another 2 more questions, and you say, ask her if she thinks it's normal behavior for a married woman to do that, because I thought she was just gonna admit it, but nah, she just off the dome, just saying random stuff. Okay. Then I say, like, okay, ask her why she thinks I owe her $350,000. She said, I don't think I'm entitled to it. It's that you agreed to pay that amount, okay? And that's what I want. It's rightfully mine. I say, okay, bet. I then ask her, have I ever abused you during the marriage? And then she says, yes. I said, okay, can you please describe? I am not going to discuss my abuse with my abuser. I don't feel comfortable saying that. The judge is all like, bitch, you better answer this. This ain't up to your discretion. You gotta answer the question, and you gotta testify. You can't just say, "Oh, I invoked the right to remain silent." Yeah, that's what she said. She said, "I want to remain silent." The judge got he literally gave that look, like, you know, like that with the guy taking out the headphone, like, "What the hell are you talking about? You have the right to remain silent. Answer the damn question, okay?" And I said, "Okay, can you please describe what is it, like physical, emotional, mental, spiritual? Any police report?" Right? Any photo, video, nothing? Okay. Finally, I say, no further questions, Your Honor. All right? Now it's her turn to go on the stand. Okay? Y'all, this is when I was completely blown away with how she completely dropped the ball on this. What she did, just completely said, okay, you know what? Yeah, this girl stooped to a new low. I'm basically gonna tell everyone more things about her, more truths about what happened during our marriage. So she goes on the stand and gives her little synopsis of why we got a divorce. This woman says, Your Honor, this all started whenever I discovered my husband was impotent. And I was like, what? What do you say? My husband is impotent, and when we found out, he started to get all physically abusing and mentally exhausting. Wouldn't let me have any friends and wouldn't let me go outside. He took my phone and he would look at who I'm talking. And she's trying to have a little sob story while on the stand, giving her crocodile tears. And I'm like, I'm sitting there. I'm like, she's like, I don't want to look like, oh my God, if they see me smiling, they're going to think I'm like some sadistic psycho freak. But I'm just like smiling like, oh my God, I'm about to steamroll this lady. I already got her like on 6 counts of perjury. I'm going to show all the evidence, like, you know, exhibit A, B, C, D, Your Honor. Like, you know, she's lying, send her to the guillotine. You know, that's what I was expecting. So she's basically making an accusation that we divorced because I'm not able to have kids or something. Or I guess she's trying to like insinuate that my hot dog don't work, okay? We were married for 1 month. We're not trying to have kids for 1 month. So I'm pretty sure she's trying to insinuate that, you know, I had like ED or something like that. So this is a new narrative. I never knew she was going to say this. I expected, you know, abuse, you know, mentally, spiritually, whatever, yada, 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 nonsense, right? That's what I've been hearing. But this is something new. This is fresh, right? The fact that she came up with this like last minute and she wasn't really prepared, she was just saying a bunch of nonsense. Like, when I tell you how far it deviated from the path, it's gonna, I'll tell you. So after she started saying, yeah, he started taking away, he wouldn't let me have any friends, and he started getting violent, and he started sending threatening messages and harassing me, and he wouldn't leave me alone, started stalking me, and blah, 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 blah. Just all that bullshit nonsense, okay? So finally, since she was making testimony, I was able to ask her all those questions. So I actually got it backwards, so my bad. She went and said her piece, and then because she testified, then I was able to ask her those, like, you know, 7 questions. And then so finally, when that was done, I went to go testify. That's when I get to the part, say right here, Your Honor, I would like to present evidence into Discovery Exhibit A, right? I planned that line like 7 times in my head because you got to say like a certain line of words to present. You can't just say, Your Honor, this text message, this whole cheating is like clear as day. She capping, Your Honor. You can't say stuff like that in court. You got to be like, Your Honor, I'd like to present in Discovery Motion Exhibit A. These screenshots were taken directly from my phone and shows my wife infidelity and clear as day product. Like, that's kind of, you got lingo lawyer talk like that. So, like, when I said that, in my mind, I'm like, damn, that sounds so right. I don't even think that's right. And the judge was like, all right, accepting motion into Discovery. Now, keep in mind, right, there's rules to evidence. And in this court, you got to share the exhibits 1 hour before the trial, right? And you got to share it with all parties. Now, low key, I didn't share this evidence with her because I didn't want her to review it and then see, oh my God, he's got pictures of me wearing my jewelry, 4K 60 FPS, my Christian Dior handbag. He's got the pictures of me cheating and all that stuff. I didn't want her to flip up her story. So low key, she could have just said, objection, Your Honor. I never got a copy of this discovery. But because I knew, I took the gamble, big brain. This woman doesn't know half this legal jargon. I'm basically, you know, a self-taught lawyer at this point. You know, if you want to hire me for your case, I'll represent you. You know, $700 an hour. I'm not licensed though, so she could have easily said, Your Honor, I never got a copy of this. I object, and then boom, I can't even show any of this evidence, and my whole case is cooked. I just fall straight on my face. But she kept her mouth shut. She didn't say anything, right? So I start listing out from order in, like, you know, 52-page PDF document, okay? I say, I like to show the ledger, right? Which is essentially, it's like a little notebook that my father wrote of all the donations that we received from our wedding, right? In our culture tradition, whenever a family member donates or gives a gift of money, the parents write it down. That way they can reciprocate that and give it to their children when they get married. So when you add it all up, it comes to around $6,100, which is, you know, a lot different than the $30,000 that my wife said we got. Almost 5 times difference, okay? So I'm like, boom, count 1, Your Honor. She lied under oath, contempt, perjury, send her to the guillotine, okay? Count 2, Your Honor. Here's the gold on her social media, clear as day, 4K 60 FPS, boasting it all over her public TikTok. I kicked her out of my house like February 4th or 5th. She's flaunting it in March, April, May, June, July. All this gold, all the gold that she's accusing me of harboring, it's on her body, on her social media. Count 2, contempt, Your Honor. Send her to the firing squad, you know? I'm just like, you know, I'm just eating like, oh my God, this is working out exactly how I wanted it to work out. And then we get to the good stuff. I say, all right, Your Honor, here's literally 23 screenshots of her begging for, or excuse me, here's 23 screenshots of her caught red-handed cheating, talking to the very man that she swore that she never spoke to and downloaded the dating app Hinge. When I asked her, did you download the dating app Hinge? No. What the hell? How you meet this guy, Maximilio? And then you just said you never went out on a date with him. Here's you at Big Dash. Here's you talking about how you love the ice cream and the kanafa. And you're going to swear that this wasn't him? Oh, here's you talking about how, I'm not looking for fun in the beginning. I'm looking at for the later. Like, you know, oh yeah, she's, you know, she's not a trashy woman. She's not going to, you know, have sex on the first day. Like, you got to at least, you know, take her ice cream. Maybe like 2-3 weeks, she's going to start, you know, sleeping with you. You know, that's what traditional women do. They don't put out on the first day. You got to maybe go out on the 3rd day and get some ice cream, and then you're going to get a chance to sleep with a married woman, you know? That's how traditional she is, y'all. So finally, right, accusations of me threatening and abusing her. Your Honor, I'd like to bring it to Exhibit A. You know, you could see the text message between me and her brother on page 34 through 38. I reach out to her brother, and then I reach out to her uncle. At this time, I still have not gone public, Your Honor. I have tried to solve this peacefully and gracefully, and she has taken advantage of my kindness as a means of weakness. Okay? And the judge and the court coordinator, they're like the typewriter, trying to type all this stuff down, because, like, you know, I'm getting on a pace, you know, like I was eating this up, you know, and like usually judges are supposed to be nonchalant, not supposed to show, but like this guy was like, you know, I could see on his computer screen, he's looking at it like, you know, looking at damn, bitch, you did that? You just said you didn't do none of that, right? He caught you red-handed. What the hell you mean it's not you? He's looking at the photo with her yitties out. Yeah, that's definitely her, right? Then I say, all right, show her publicly accusing me of abuse on her social media. Your Honor, when the devil couldn't reach you, so he sent you a 6-foot Arab man, hashtag ex-husband, hashtag divorce, hashtag relationship. Over here talking about, oh, he's sending death threats, people to kill me, harass me, yada, 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 all that bullshit, okay? And then she's over here saying, oh, his plan, I'm totally unfazed. Now he just has to follow through with what he promised, unaliving me. What? What are you talking about, this nonsense that I'm threatening to abuse her? Okay, then I show the fake text messages, page 2, right here. It's all going according to plan. My script paperwork right here. Show the fake text message she made with the most barbaric, incoherent statement that's alleged from me with fake evidence, fake text message. Talk about, oh, you'll be back to the usual cooking and cleaning and yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. You better come back. I'm going to throw you out on the street again and throw all your clothes out. Again, steamrolling, cooking her shit up, bro. This woman did not stand any chance. Finally, oh my God. And that's when, honestly, the judge was getting fed up with me. Like, you know, I was talking for about like 30 minutes. Okay, not 30 minutes. Honestly, it was like about 15 minutes. But like, he understands that all this stuff is irrelevant. We're here to just discuss the property that you guys need to divide. It doesn't matter if you abused her, didn't abuse her, if she cheated or she didn't cheat. Like, he wasn't even here to discuss the money or the contract or the marriage certificate, whatever, or anything like that. He's like, you wrapping it up? It sounds like it's the same stuff you're talking about. I'm like, oh, my apologies, Your Honor. So, yeah, and then we go to mediation, and she asked for a public apology video and leave it on my social media for 30 days and then $30,000. And she was trying to extort me for money. He's like, all right, wrap it up. You know, like, he just did it. He's like, all right, I get it. She's cheating. You caught her red-handed, bro. Just let's move on, bro. That's basically what I was getting from him. He looked like he was like, you know, 60, 70 years old, bro. He's on his last leg. I didn't even get to the part where, like, the marriage, show the marriage certificate, talk about how it was like poorly written. It doesn't even specify what kind of carat. I'm sure they would want 24 karat gold, but you know, I could give them 1 karat gold. I give them fool's gold. It says, or equivalent. So I could give them 25 ounces of fool's gold equivalent in cow manure. That's what was the line I was going to get ready to say. I'm going to give them, you know, compressed air cans, cool rocks. And then I was going to say, and look, it's open-ended. It says now. Okay, well, I never even completed that 25 ounces of gold. I got her about $13,000 worth of gold. 25 ounces of gold, assuming at 24 karat, that's like, you know, $85,000. So since I never gave her $85,000, does that mean our marriage is invalid? I didn't even got to explain that argument. And in fact, I was going to say, like, how, you know, I filed bankruptcy, so if this is a past debt, it should be absolved. It no longer belongs to me. She's SOL, you know, this is unsecured debt. And then I was gonna, like, you know, show all the, but like, he just said, yo, I don't, just wrap it up. So I'm like, all right, that's it, Your Honor, no worries. And then, hopefully it's still recording. Yeah, then she went to go and once, because I was testifying, she's like, now wants to cross-examine and ask me questions, right? I thought this woman was gonna talk about, like, you know, the marital demands that she was wanting, the money, the $350,000, the wedding cash. All she started talking about was, did you make a bunch of videos of harassing and stalking me online and posting them publicly to stalk me? And I'm like, no, right? Because I'm trying to play games with her the way she's playing with me, right? Stalking is when you go up to someone's house and, you know, you're watching them from afar. Bitch, I'm 4 hours away in Dallas. You're in Houston. What you mean am I stalking you? What does having to post my side of the story have anything to do with stalking you and harassing you? And I tell her, listen, I'm not posting the stories. I made the videos because I don't want to share, you know, tell the same story to 100 people 100 times. I make one video, distribute it amongst all my friends, and then one of them uploads it to get attention and support. Right? Technically, I'm not the one posting it, right? Anyways, and then she starts asking me, like, and why would you bring up my father's past criminal cases that were dismissed? And I'm like, What are you talking about? Dismissed, dog. She pled guilty to aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and burglary with intent to commit another felony. He did not get it dismissed. He pled guilty as part of a plea deal to get 5 years probation. Court coordinator's like, the judge's like, it's like wide open. Like, what the hell is going on? Again, what does this have to do with our divorce proceeding? Like, what does this have to do with you getting the pots and pans, the furniture, the wedding cash? And then, finally, that judge is getting fed up with her because she's just talking about random things. Like, you know, the judge is like, and he's trying to, like, you know, give her aid and like, you know, okay, like, you know, like, is there anything else that you want to discuss? Finally, she got to the meat of the pie and is all like, I like to present into evidence the marriage certificate. Now, this, I was trying to be, you know, a little you know, sleazy, right? Because I know that the rules, you have to, you know, give the evidence 1 hour before discovery, okay? Or 1 hour before the trial. Now, she could have called me out and she didn't. And I wasn't even worried whatever evidence she did bring, but I just wanted to piss her off. You know, I just wanted to let her feel like the pressure, the burden. The minute she says, I would like to present the marriage certificate and discovery. Objection, Your Honor. I said it way too fast. The judge said, don't interrupt her. She didn't finish the sentence. And you need to have a legal reason to object. And the judge thought I didn't know the legal reason. He thought since I'm, you know, pro se, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But I know a little bit of information. So finally, she finishes the statement, right? And then he asked me, do you have any objections? And I say, yes, Your Honor, I object. And then he says, under what grounds? And I say, well, from my understanding, the court proceedings require that we submit all evidence and discovery files to all corresponding parties, and I have not received those documents, nor do I know what it is that she is talking about. And the judge was like, this guy, like, he's like, oh, whatever, bro. You know, he wanted to catch me like in an aha moment, right? You know, when I said that, she responds with, he received this document, and then basically the judge let her walk up to me and hand me this marriage certificate. I know what the marriage certificate is. I know, I'm just trying to play games, you know? She comes and like steadily approaches me in like a, you know, a shivering manner and doesn't want to like hand it me directly. She just like hands the piece of paper on the court and just walks back, and I look at it. I'm sitting there looking at it like this. I know what the hell I'm looking at, but I'm just like, yeah, it seems like that's it, right? Yeah, what about this? What do we ask? Right? And I thought, like, okay, we were going to start discussing this, and I was going to make my arguments on why I don't need to pay, because, you know, it's a poorly written, you know, contract, just a marriage certificate, shouldn't be taken serious, and, you know, if anyone needs to get recompensated, it's me, because she cheated on me, right? The judge said, any further questions? She said, nope, that's all. I sit down, she sits down. The judge simply says, all right, I hereby declare you guys in granting your divorce, and I'm giving you guys you keep your car, which I don't know why he even brought, none of us were talking about a car, and that is all. Now, the judge will grant this divorce, but just remember, you gotta have the judge sign off on it. And I'm like, bro, aren't you the judge? I don't know. He just said, okay, that's it. Case closed. I'm divorced. Hallelujah. The shackles have been lifted. I am free from the wicked witch. Okay? And then, yeah, she left. 5 minutes, she left. The bailiff said, okay, stay here 5, because, you know, they don't want us to walk out at the same time. You know, we're going to, you know, butt heads or whatever. So her and her father and mother leave the courtroom. I'm over there, you know, shitty regret. You know, I'm so excited. Like, yes, it worked out. Dude, I thought, like, you know, she was going to get, like, you know, charged with contempt of court. She literally lied like 6 times, okay? I thought, like, you know, that was going to be some sort of punishment. So the fact that the judge was just so fed up with us and just didn't want to deal with the nonsense, he just wanted to give us, I'm glad, I don't care. I don't want to play any more games. I'm just glad I got a divorce and she can't no longer pull this, you know, legal BS, okay? Yeah, right. My bottom teeth look a little darker than the top. Dang. Anyways. Yeah, so I forgot to mention, because of her nefarious work in court, trying to tarnish my manhood and accuse of my hot dog not working, okay, whatever she meant by impotency, I'm taking all the restraints off, no limits. I don't want peace, I want problems, okay? So I'm gonna address, right? I came on here telling people my wife was a liar and a cheater. That's all that they need to know, and that's all that really matters. However, they need to know now that not only is she a liar and a cheater, she's stinky, she's filthy, and she's thieving, right? Stinky, filthy, and a thief, right? What do I mean by stinky? Well, I would love to see her try and defend herself from these smelly coochie allegations, right? I'm going to show screenshots of conversations between me and her when we got the nikah done and I finally laid down on her lap for the first time. I noticed a bad stench coming from that private area, and I brought it to her attention in a very delicate, polite manner, and she starts gaslighting me, talking about, oh, you know, it's normal for, you know, your hoo-ha to smell like that. It's okay. It's normal to smell like rotten fish or meat. And, you know, ladies' private parts aren't supposed to smell like flowers and roses. I saw this on Reddit. And then she tells me that, like, oh, you know, I decided, like, I finally washed myself down there for the first time because she wanted to portray herself as such a pious, modest, virgin woman that she wouldn't even touch herself to wash down there. She just lets the water run off of it. That's like the same thing as dudes saying they just spread their eye cheeks and let the water with the soap run down for, like, what? No, that's not how it works. So that's what she was trying to portray. Oh, astaghfirullah, I mean, I would never wash myself down there. I'm a pious, practicing Muslim woman. Dog, you can wash yourself to get rid of stench, right? So finally, when I bring it to her, she then says, oh my God, so I decided to put some, like, cocoa shea butter lotion. I washed it down there and I smell my fingers and I don't smell like, you know, like fish anymore. And I'm like, oh yeah, babe, I'm so happy you figured it out. Okay. Clear as day, 4K FPS. These texts, they're 100% legitimate, okay? So I didn't divorce my wife when I found out she had stinky cooch syndrome, okay? I stayed like a loyal husband with her, okay? Secondly, she's filthy in the terms of, like, she tells me that she only takes a shower 3 times a week. Dog, that is less than half of the days in a week. You're telling me you wake up, got that morning sweat, you go to work, you cook, you go to the gym, build a sweat, you don't even take a shower, you go hop into my bed and sleep with all that gunk and grime, and then when you wake up, then you take a shower? What kind of mentality practice is that? That is beyond crazy. I take a shower at least minimum 2 times a day. One in the morning and then one after the gym, before night. So her telling me that she doesn't take a shower that often, again, grossed me out. And because she's always wearing wigs, because her hair is thinning and falling out apparently, whenever she gets it wet and she gets water on it, you ever know what, like, laundry smells like when you leave it in the washing machine and it's got that rotten, like, fungus smell? Her wig would literally smell like wet dog, right? Because it's so impossible to dry away. She, you know, you can't use a blow dryer or whatever because it's gonna ruin the wig or whatever. So she's just trying to let it air dry. A damp cloth this big of wig hair isn't gonna dry up in 5 minutes, so it stays wet and it just smells like it's rotting dog meat or like wet dog, whatever. You know what wet dog smells like, or, you know, fungus in a washing machine, okay? Secondly, she tells me when she's on her menstrual cycle that she cannot take showers. And I was like, what are you talking about? You can't take no shower. She said, oh, if running water touches my head, it gives me upset stomach. Bro, I'm not a woman, but I even know this is BS, bro. Again, I didn't divorce her for the smelly cooch. I didn't divorce her for her filthy habits. I was a loyal husband. No matter what, I put up with a lot of BS, right? And if you thought that was, you know, it, now we're going to get to the filth. The part of the filthy is this woman, even though we only lived for like 25, 30 days on 4 accounts, not 1, not 2, not 3, 4 accounts, okay? This woman forgets to flush the toilet behind herself. So I'll come home, my room's smelling like straight ass, and I'm like, what is that smell? What is that smell? I go in the bathroom, sitting there marinating a bowl of, caca and pee fermenting there for God knows how many hours. The first time, I laugh about it. I say, like, hey, you kind of forgot to flush the toilet. Oh my God, it's so embarrassing. Hey, that's what she said. Whatever, Next week, does it a second time. Yo, what is this? I send her a picture. Yo, is this you? How you forget? What are you doing? This is the second time I caught you. Third time, like, yo, what was this? Fourth time, I'm getting pissed. Fifth time, I'm livid, bro. I come back, 4-hour drive from Houston. I went and drop her off back to Houston, come back. I see that fermenting there for 5 hours. Now I'm talking to her like I'm HR. Please remember to flush the toilet after behind you. It stunk up the whole house. Yes, sir. My apologies, sir. Like that's we established like a little HR community. When you start speaking to your spouse like HR, you're fed up. Okay. So the filthy, the stinky, and the smelly allegation, whatever. Now we're on to the thieving. Okay. This woman, right? She tried stealing the wedding dress that I bought for her with her money. So I basically PayPal'd her like $1,000 to buy this wedding dress for the wedding. And she ended up trying to do a PayPal refund scam on the lady, saying she never got her dress. And the lady somehow figures out my email address, sends me an email saying, oh my God, how could you start your marriage like this, stealing a wedding dress? What could you? And I'm like, whoa, what are you talking about? I don't know. We paid you. What are you talking about? I sent her the money. I said, send me the screenshots of you reaching out, communicating to her. She then shows me that she's sending, 2, 3, 4 texts and she's just getting ignored. And then I come in with this information. I don't tell my wife that I spoke to the lady, right? She sent me screenshots. I asked my wife, hey, the lady said that you never paid her. Can you explain that? No, I paid her. And I'm like, can you show me what message she sent you? And my wife sends me Instagram screenshot DM, and you can delete the messages from either side of the group. And she deleted all the messages that show the wedding dress lady reaching out to her, trying to communicate with her. So my wife was basically trying to manipulate and fool me to make it seem like she had no idea this lady was trying to contact her, and she has no idea of this PayPal refund dispute that she was filing. So when I catch her red-handed, I say, that's odd. You're not showing me any messages from her end, but yet she showed me all these messages from your end. And one thing I know is that it looks like you deleted those messages. She starts trying to gaslight me, oh my God, why are you trying to defend some random Chinese lady? Like, oh my God, if you love her so much, go marry her, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, shut your bro, talk about this nonsense. So again, I stuck by my wife when she was stealing, when she was stinking, when she was filthing, and stinking, thieving, filthing. What was the other thing? Oh yeah, cheating and lying. That's where I didn't. Oh my God, no, I'm fumbling. Whatever, you get the point, okay? I drew the line when she cheated. I'm a man of morals, okay? Right? You can't just walk all over me. The second she started cheating and being unfaithful and loyal, I said, that's it. That's the straw that broke the camel's back, and I will no longer tolerate this nonsense anymore. So yeah, that is the 30-day special finale that happened in my life. Oh yeah, one more thing. Need to mention this. Now, again, you may think like, wow, you really laid it all out. You have gone above and beyond. You got your justice. Alhamdulillah, everything worked out in your favor. I still want to maintain peace. I don't want to have to look forward to some sort of BS, slander, defamation court case that they try and file maybe a couple months from now, a year from now. If they try and file another civil lawsuit to try and come after me for the money. If they continue, her and her father, to slander and defame me and, come after me for money and my wealth, then I will be forced to really disregard anyone's feelings or financial stability. I understand her father is on Social Security disability fraudulently. I have hours of footage and pictures of him doing insane gymnastics and acrobatic movements, doing all sorts of debka at my wedding, climbing 20-30 foot ladders at the wedding venue to hang stuff for the wedding. I have all that 4K 60 FPS, okay? I have your first, last name, your social security number, your driver's license number. I know the story of how you got in your disability. I know the claims. I can literally hand this to a silver platter to the Social Security government. However, to deter you from continuing this foolishness, I will grant you some mercy, and I will withhold this information from that division. However, the second you go back on your BS and start doing and causing me these problems, I will be gladly to strip you from your Social Security disability, and in turn, that would honestly burden your entire family. You know, the apple may be rotten, but I don't want to punish the tree, okay? His wife did nothing to me. The rest of his children did nothing to me. I don't expect them to side with me. Again, that's their family. They got to stick by them all their life. These are people they're going to live with the rest of their life. I don't blame them one bit for, you know, ignoring and not heeding the warnings. Like, it's typical. Don't have a single ounce of hate or remorse for them. And therefore, I don't want to burden them simply because I'm upset with her and her father. However, if they continue to go down and transgress upon that line, then I will have no choice but to truly try and make an everlasting effect, so you just permanently leave me alone. Because honestly, any money you do get, if you try and use that to just pay a lawyer to try and come after me, then okay, I guess I clearly got to come and take your mother's a freaking wasp trying to, you know, come into my window. But that is all, folks. It's been a great series, 41 minutes. That's a long video. Hopefully I don't have to come and update you guys. I really hope this is the end of it. And I'm just gonna disappear from the face of the internet, move on and find some other girl to marry, and have a crazy story to tell my kids, and how to make sure to pick the right spouse, right? You know, God gives his toughest battles for his strongest soldiers. I took this on the chin. I'm not fazed by it. Honestly, I'm so glad I learned this within 30 days instead of 3 years of marriage with 3 kids. If I was on child support with this woman, y'all, I'd take the first flight back to the Middle East and disappear and just live in the sand like a Bedouin, bro. Little tent, camel, beard down to here, and just pretend like I just never existed in America, bro. Live off the land and just die and wait till I get peace in heaven. Hopefully I go to heaven, bro. But yeah, that's it, y'all. Hopefully this is the last update, and God bless. Thank you. Take care. Appreciate all the kind words and support from everyone. Seeing everyone comment, oh my God, reaching you from Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, Japan, Dubai, you know, Morocco, Jordan. This is reaching to Florida, Michigan, like Australia, Canada, here, Panama. Like, yo, Mr. Worldwide, bro, fucking Pitbull. It's honestly crazy to have all this support, you know. And again, for all I knew, these videos would have probably gotten, like, you know, 30 views, 200 views, get shadow banned. Oh, you're posting content that's harassment and bullying, and my story never I'm just one of a million people who get swamped under all the, you know, the feed and the stream and the other posts. You know, somehow this went global, more than I expected. I just really wanted the Houston Muslims and to know about this, but now the entire nation of America, the entire countries from all around the world are chiming in for support. And I just want to say thank you, and have a wonderful rest of your life, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.